I could have done it better. Hey, welcome to the Hotline at midnight. It's Friday. You're here. I don't know. Fuck it. I'll figure out how to do these one days. The Hotline is brought to you by Good Company. They keep the phone lines running. It's a great local beer. Thank you so much for supporting the show. Thank you for coming in tonight. Thank you for joining us. I'm here with two awesome comics who I don't actually know very well, but I'm really excited to hang out with them, get to know them. Alex Carr from Sonic Radio. Will Corry from a podcast we used to do together, only one episode, but we don't do anymore. We'll talk about it. It's coming back. How you guys doing?
Good. I'm good as well. We can't. There's no snare. There we go.
There you go.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now the podcast has come back. One third of the podcast got deported. He's in France now. So
who?
Randy got deported.
He got deported?
Have you not heard this yet?
No.
Have you heard about this?
Randy, which Randy?
Randy J.
Randy Janidier.
Yeah.
Got deported.
I can't see Randy Myers or Randy
I saw
Newmeyer
Randy
getting
Newmeyer
deported.
tonight, so that would be a tricky one.
Yeah, Randy J. He got deported back to France. He's a French citizen.
What happened? Was there a thing? What happened?
Well, there was multiple things. I mean, there's a lot of rumors going around. I think the official story was he was running some sort of like child fighting ring or something, like in charge of that.
Be honest. Let's hear the truth.
The truth is not that interesting. I think he was trying to cross the border to visit his son, and I don't know if he wants to be. Whatever. Sorry, Randy. He's gone now. It doesn't matter. But he was trying to cross the border to go visit his son, and then they clipped him they looked through his phone and stuff and saw that he was working maybe illegally.
Oh
Or
God.
such and such. So
Amateur move.
yeah, they sent him right on a plane.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Fuck.
So now the Space Cowboys is just me and Dara, let's just say it's in shambles. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the sexual attention alone.
Yeah.
Randy, call in if you're here listening.
I would love that. What time is it in France right now?
it's riot in the streets time. They love
It's
rioting
baguette
over
hour.
there.
It's always riot time.
They love it.
He's probably smoking a cigarette, drinking an espresso right now.
I didn't know he was from France.
Well, he's from Guadeloupe, which I've learned recently is a French colony. So I guess when the official proceedings took place, his passport's French.
So for the show,
Something
people call in from all over the world, or did just whoever calls wants to call?
Whoever wants to call.
What's the weirdest call you guys have got so
I
far?
asked that question already.
Well, the first night we had someone calling in and asking about just like milk was a weird kind of a question. I think it might have been a prank phone caller.
Clever.
Yeah. It was weird for an older man to just like go to bed drinking a large glass of milk every night.
Yeah.
A little weird. That's fine.
There we go.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, is that a call?
No, I think that was just a computer update.
Oh, that was an email.
Incoming call. Here we go.
There we go. Let's hit it. That's quick.
Nice.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey there. Who do we got?
Hi, how's it going? First time caller, long time listener.
Oh,
Hey,
I remember
happy
this
to have
voice.
you.
Nice.
Hey, I just had a question, and I don't want to overstep because I think there was a similar question on a previous podcast. I don't think there was a show last week, but it was the one with Darcy, Boone Collins, Ryan Williams, and Bobby Warner.
Wow, this guy's a fan.
And yeah. I just had one question because I'm a big music fan. Like I listen to a lot of like Beatles, Rolling Stones, a little bit of ELO. Like sometimes, like I listen, and like not many people know about the ELO. Is that like he was the lead guy? What's his name? He was in Traveling Wilburys as he was actually one of the lead organizers of ELO, and also he composed a lot of the music. And sorry, I'm trying to and he organized a lot of the music for Traveling Wilburys, right?
No, let me ask you one quick question about the Traveling Wilburys.
Okay, so
Yes. Yeah.
So what is the?
That's also an interesting guy. He likes to prank phone call every episode.
And he just talks.
We think he's an open micer from the island.
Oh, the island.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a funny bit. It's kind of like an Abe Simpson, just ramble on.
Yeah. Before he's had this is a new bit. He's stepping it up.
Came up with something new.
Yeah. Before it was whatever we were just talking about, he would ask to repeat that question.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, well, he's evolving.
Yeah, no. Class participation, 10 marks.
Yeah. Over from the island.
Appreciate the effort, you know?
Yep, totally.
Anyways.
So you guys, you ever work in a call center? You ever?
I have not. Have you?
Yeah, I've worked in a couple in the Maritimes when the fisheries collapsed. They replaced them with call
Suicide
centers.
hotline?
I wish.
Yeah, they're all based out there.
Yeah, suicide for the people working there.
Yeah. They all lost their jobs and they would call you and cry.
So people would call in. I worked for a couple of different ones. One of them we gave away timeshares. Like we would give away trips. And
At the suicide hotline?
where else? No, there was no suicide that I know of. But have you guys ever seen the Trailer Park Boys?
Yeah.
So Sam, do you know the character Sam Losco? Sam? He was my
Describe him.
boss at the show. He's this bald guy. He's like that ape looking, gorilla looking Sam.
Yeah.
He was my boss, and he was like, he's like not too far off what he is on the show. And I don't mean like a guy that looked like him, like the actual guy. He was on the show.
Yeah.
And he worked at this call center, and him and his son both worked there. One time he fist fought his son on the floor. This is a sketchy call center where we worked in the middle of the night. It's like like it was the first time I ever saw somebody like sniffing opioids or anything like that. Like
Very cool.
Yeah. It was wild. He fought his son on the floor, like fist fought. He had his son on the door, and his son was like a cat trying to like not get kicked out. He was trying to kick him out of the thing.
Oh, like, yeah, trying to like literally push
Trying
him out
to
of the
get him
house.
out. Sam is he's also a bouncer at a club, and so he was like, it was crazy. At this same call center, I got tased by a lady. This lady named Juanita.
Why?
So there was this. So I'll tell you. So this lady,
This is a call center. You're supposed to be safe.
like, oh, we were so far from safe at this place. It was insane. So like this woman, her name was Juanita. She's a white woman, and she was just draped in gold. And she's from this place called Spryfield, which is like a really rough area of Halifax. Like Vice did an article about it, about how the families there like shoot at each other and stuff. Like Vice literally goes from like the war-torn Sudan to like a small fishing village in Nova Scotia. That's how like crazy it is.
Yeah.
So everyone in Spryfield talks like this, and they're always mad, and they go, "What the fuck are you looking at?" And so her name was Juanita, and she had so much gold. She was wild, and it's a little old white woman. And one day she comes in with a taser, and she's just tasing. Sam doesn't care. Like Sam is like a thug. Sam is from the streets, and she's just saying to all the like goons I worked with, like all the people that worked there were like on like parole and stuff. Like it was like so sketchy. And she was like, "You want to get tased?" And like some of the guys there were like, yes. They were like, yeah, like let's do it.
Yeah.
And like this guy, Dead Richard was one of them. And I'll tell you why we called him Dead Richard in a sec. But like Dead Richard,
Didn't survive
Bailey,
the tase.
Cam, they're all like, yeah, tase me. So they're like seeing what it feels like to get tased, and she was like, "Hey, Alex, you want to get tased?" And I was like, "No, Juanita, like I don't want to get tased. I just want to try and screw people over from Spokane, Washington on a timeshare. I'm trying to do something respectful here." So whenever you got a deal, you had to go up to the board and like mark it down on the board. And I got a deal, and I went to mark it down, and I just felt it in my back, just and it was like so painful. And surprising, but also like I knew exactly what it was. I was like, Juanita just tased me. And I turned around. I said probably the softest thing anyone's ever said. I turned around. I go, "Juanita, I specifically told you not to tase me."
Like a
and,
lawyer.
Thought I'd never have to say.
and then I go up to Sam, and I'm like, "Sam, Juanita tased me."
Oh.
We can finish. in a
Caller
bit.
number 2.
Guy.
Oh, just
It's the same guy.
Yeah.
Oh, the bit's over guy.
yeah. Hey, go put your name on a list on the open mic.
Just figure it out.
So
Back to Juanita.
Juanita. So I walk up to Sam, and I'm like, "Sam, Juanita tased me," and he literally looks at me and he goes, "So?" And I was like, and then he goes, no joke. He goes, "Alex, you know I don't like snitching."
Oh, wow.
And I was like,
Gotta
and
respect that.
the funny thing is that I actually did know that, and he had been very clear about that in the past. So in a way, I was like, you know what, you're right. You
Yeah.
explained to me in the past you don't like snitching. And he was like, what do you want me to do? And I was like, I don't know. He goes, do you want to go home? And I was like, yeah. And then same guy?
This guy, I mean,
Um,
I kind of respect and hate it. You know what I mean?
A little bit.
you could answer if you want. I mean, I don't know if he's just going to ramble on again or whatever.
Perhaps.
Then I can tell you guys why we called him Dead Richard. It's also a funny story.
No, I want to get to
yeah.
Dead Richard, but is that how you're working the call center? You're like, I got to get out of here, and then now I'm in radio. Is that like the where that ended trajectory?
No,
That's the
so there's a
transition.
huge gap in between there and working in radio. At this time, I was still a lost soul. So I did a lot of sketchy stuff from that call center on.
Well, that's what I mean.
Nice.
Is you after the call center, you're like,
Yeah.
I can't.
So no, not yet. We got like another decade
Okay.
before
Oh, fuck.
before
Okay.
that. I didn't start radio till I was 28, and I'm 39. So
Nice.
it's so before I get to Dead Richard, here's another funny thing. The guy that did the incoming calls for customer service was the one. I knew him from when I was young. He had a crazy anger problem. Like this guy, he used to like punch people in the face like every 3 weeks at field parties and stuff. And he just happened to be the incoming call center guy that when people would call, like the guy that's calling right now, he would like snap on people. And because it was like a sketchy call center, no one cared. They would call and he'd just go, "You're the one calling me, ma'am." And he would just hang up on people. And he was the only person that had a phone you actually had to pick up. We all had headsets. So that was a great character at this place.
It's all the opioids.
So Dead Richard, the only time I ever did a opioid was I got it from him because I needed a root canal.
Yeah.
And he sold drugs, and like I needed a root canal, and I was like, "Did Richard, man, I'm in so much pain." Like, and I was in legit pain, and he was like, he gave it to me, he didn't even sell it to me,
Nice.
and then the pain went away. Oh God, it felt so good, and it did. He was like, "Give
Yeah.
it 5 minutes," and as he was holding his 5 up like this, it went from the worst pain I've ever been in to just like
Pure bliss.
I'm loving it right now.
Yeah. Opioids work.
So
Okay.
Richard.
So many people could tell you that.
So Richard was a like sketchy dude. Like he needless to say, he's a good guy. He's a good heart. But this guy, his name is Richard Slomwhite, and
Shut up.
yeah. Shout out Richard if you're listening.
No, he's dead now.
He's not dead. I don't want to spoil the end of the story.
Oh,
but
okay, my bad.
so Richard Slomwhite was from a place called Sackville, which is also sketchy. And he one day at the
Are you Eminem? Like, did you grow up in 8 Mile, Canada?
These areas of Halifax are so not what you'd think. Like if you're actually from Halifax and you know what I'm talking about, you're like, no, everything he's saying is true. Like they're not. The postcards of Halifax are just the lighthouse, and you think about like the Blue Nose, and it's like, no, there's people shooting at each other at the hospital that are from Spryfields. That's a fact. That's in the Vice article.
Yeah.
So, Richard, so a guy named Richard Slomwhite from Sackville died from suspicious circumstances. And we were like, we're at the call center. We're like looking at his Facebook, and his Facebook is all these people like mourning his death. And they're writing like, "Richard, I'll never forget." Like, you know what it's like on people's Facebook when someone dies, like, "I'll never forget this. That time we hung out and you were such a good soul." And literally while we're looking at his Facebook, Richard comes walking into the call center, and we're like, "Huh?" And he just goes, "Not dead, fuckers." And it was amazing. So Richard through that time had just been on a bender at a cottage with no internet. Keep in mind, this is a long time ago, like, cabins, there's no internet type deal. And like, if you knew Richard, like you would say in high school, he would have been voted most likely to die under suspicious circumstances. Like that's
Okay.
who he was. So it was so surprising. And he was like, yeah. And we had to tell him, we were like, man, you got to update your Facebook. Like
Let the people know.
everyone thinks you're dead. So so then after that, we called him Dead Richard because
That's fair.
because we thought he was dead for a while.
I've had that actually. Yeah, I don't know if it was before Facebook, but just like back in the MSN Messenger days when people would have like they would put their name and then like the lyric to a depressing song or whatever.
Course, yeah.
So for like a month, I would just be like, oh my God, I found love and about Sarah, and just make it about this fictional relationship.
Nice.
Then the next month we broke up fictionally, and got the song lyrics got sadder and sadder. And then some of my friends were just like, hey buddy, like they were also in on the joke. Cheer up, man. She was not worth it. You're better off without her. And then one day I just didn't log on. And then my other friends were just like, rest in peace, Jordan. We miss you.
Oh my God.
And then
They committed to the bit.
It spread like wildfire. This is before we realized the power of the internet ourselves. Right. And by the next, like, I had to like, by the 6 hours, I had to like let people know I was alive and shit.
Yeah.
Years later, we're at a party and we're just like, so anyways, my buddy Doug, who was in on the jokes, like, I'm living with Jordan Flanagan now. We're up and doing colleges, or we're in Toronto doing our own film thing. He's just like, Jordan Flanagan? I thought that guy was dead. Just like still lives on. There's people out there who probably think I'm not alive.
Nowadays, you'd fire up a GoFundMe.
You ever think about faking your own death and then just showing up to the funeral, see what the vibe's like?
See who shows up.
Not faking it.
Well, I know who's going to show up, but I want to see who doesn't show up. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I don't think I would judge. I get it. You're busy. Depends on where it is. If there's a lot of traffic,
Yeah,
and
that's
you
true.
know what I mean, depending on parking,
Who's in the playoffs?
Funerals these days. it's
playoffs, there's something going on.
like- oh, same guy?
Speaking of people I wish was dead.
Is it the same guy?
Same guy.
Yeah, man, this guy, he's got something to say.
It's all right. You know what? When I was young, we used to call in the live bingo that was on Channel 10, and
Bingo.
and they would have to stop it for the phone call, and we would laugh. And now I'm getting the karma from it.
Yeah.
And so this is my fault.
You believe in karma?
Not really, because such good people have such bad things happen to them, and everybody likes to like nitpick sort of what karma.
Yeah.
It feels good sometimes to say something's karma, but then I know great people that have had how awful things happen to them, and I'm like, you didn't do anything to deserve this.
True.
So it doesn't.
The universe is just chaos. You just have to kind of
That's what I think.
learn
It's
to roll with the
just-
punches.
It's just entropy.
Yeah.
You know, parts in a system, maybe
Do you believe it?
randomness.
I do-
Nah, it's like what you said. It feels good, but
There is a thing to it though, I think, where like you do get back what you give out. So if you, in a sense that like if you're putting a lot of like good intentions out in the world, you will receive a lot of love back outwards. If you're putting a lot of negativity out, so that in a sense is like there is an element of karma to that. But it's not manifest your complete whole destiny through that, but there is like
yeah.
elements of truth to like
Right.
oh you
I
will.
think,
Right,
I think it's good practice.
Yeah.
You know,
The
even if it's
person
not true.
That works hard and does good things for other people seems to get
Yeah.
ahead in life, and then the person who's just a piece of shit, everything bad happens to them, and you could say karma, or you could say
Yeah.
results.
Yeah.
But
Consequences.
like I know what you mean. Consequences, whatever.
Mhm.
Yeah, totally.
Repercussions.
Yeah, it's nothing spiritual, man, behind it. It's just like your actions are dictating your results at the end of the day.
I know some people that are due for some karma. You know what I mean? Good and bad.
Say their names. First and last. I put Dead Richard on blast. I put Richard Slonwhite out there.
Ed Richards on the line right now.
The
Nice.
Yeah.
Richard.
Solid. I'd love for my mom to call in. It's a perfect time. You ever get your parents? They just call you just at like the time where you just can't talk. You know what I mean? They're always finding like the perfect moments
No, never.
where you just don't have the moment to have a conversation with them.
You've
I always have to like carve out time.
You have parents that care, so they call.
Well, that's
Yeah. I have to like email my dad to make sure he picks up the phone, or like turns his phone on rather, just so
Oh,
then I
yeah.
can then call him.
nice.
My mom only really calls on my birthday, which was the other day, which was on Sunday.
It was?
Yeah.
Happy birthday, man.
Thank you.
Hey, happy
Nice.
birthday.
Thank you.
39?
39.
That's fantastic.
I did a show that night, and you ask people whose birthday what it is, and then I was like, it's my birthday, and I asked them how old they think I am, and the people in the crowd said 24.
Nice.
And I was like, I should do this every week just to boost my own confidence. 24, and I was like 39. They're all like, no way. But keep in mind, I dress like Hello Fellow Children. Big time Hello Fellow Children energy. What are the kids wearing? That's what I'll wear. Surely it is not me that is out of touch. It's the children that are out of touch.
I was at a show recently, and there was a girl. It was her birthday in the crowd, and then I was like, "How old are you?" And then she was like, "I want you to guess." And I was like, "I really wouldn't. I'd rather not." And she was like, "No, guess." And I was like, 29. She was like, "Oh, you're so sweet. A little bit higher." And I was like, 42. She didn't like that at all.
She wanted to play the game.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, "Yeah, you're making me
Anyone
do
who
the thing we're not
says
supposed to do."
anyone who says guess my age, that is a telltale sign that they're old, that they're
Yeah.
older.
Well, they're fishing
and they don't
for.
just want to say their age. Even me, when I did it because I was like, oh, I'm wearing a shirt that the kids would wear.
Yeah. Could I
Yeah, absolutely.
trouble you for another beautiful sponsored beverage
Absolutely.
You should say the name.
from Good Company Lager?
Could I trouble you for
This
another
is delicious. By the way,
cold,
can I just
smooth, good company?
can I just throw some beers on blast right now?
Absolutely.
I won't say where, but there's a comedy club in town that may or may not have recently opened, and every time I go to get a beer there, it's disgusting. And they're like, it's a sponsored deal or whatever, so they have to have only those beers.
Oh,
And it's a real just,
it's
hemorrhoid
like,
in my ass right now, where I just hate their beers.
what's the beer? Can you say the beer?
I wish I knew the brand, because I would have no problem telling them that their beer sucks.
It could be.
but
It's probably a local beer that's willing to sponsor a comedy club. You do not want to say their name. I'm big on saying names, but
okay, but this goes to my other favorite point to make, which is like, yeah, people say support local, right?
yeah.
We should also not support local when it's bad. You know what I mean?
Support quality local.
Support quality
Yeah.
local. That should be the rebranded phrase.
Yeah.
I don't like this whole, give them money just because they're around our neighborhood.
Believe
If
all
they're-
women. Exactly.
Well, yeah, then we ramp it up a little bit.
No,
Which
extremes.
reminds
You
me,
don't want
who
to.
should
You don't want
be
to
allowed
lump
to go
things
in
in
swimming
together. Yeah, yeah.
competitions.
No, I just like, I don't like when
Some drinking fountains should be for other people.
that's just, let's go backwards, because that's when it was good. No, but when things are bad, I'm like, don't go there. Figure your shit out. You're not making good products, good beer.
I would rather a bad beer sponsor and a club stay open than a good beer sponsor and a club close.
I mean, God bless them, but I don't think the club's hinging on their beer sales. Hopefully not, because they're dog shit.
Great David Tell quote. We're not here to tell jokes. We're here to sell Coors.
That's a great.
Right.
That's so true.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Radio is like, people think that it's like about music and things like that. It's like, no, it's about selling Tim Hortons
Everything's about-
coffee. That's
everything's about
what
selling.
we do.
And
We
you're doing a
let-
hell of a job, sir.
It's about letting people know that this weekend you're going to get twice the points at the Shoppers PC Optimum event.
Yeah.
You guys want to hear some drama in the Calgary comedy group?
Oh, please.
This is fun.
Yeah, lay it down.
So a guy, great staple of the Calgary scene, made a post about how, like, if you're a comedian, like, you shouldn't be talking loudly in the crowd. You should sit at the back, and you obviously shouldn't heckle, and you shouldn't, basically saying like some etiquette
Some
and
professionalism.
he didn't say any comedian's name. Like, he didn't say anyone's name, but it was the
call
post
anybody
was
out.
clearly directed at one person, or
Okay.
like at the behavior of one person.
Okay.
And then the next day, he posts that the comedian, he still didn't name who it was, but he was like, the comedian that I made a post about yesterday showed up at a show looking for me with the shovel handle, the handle of a shovel, telling everyone he was going to beat my ass.
Wow.
Yeah. And because all comedy groups are like this, and no matter how serious a post is, everybody just made jokes about it. My favorite being like, we shouldn't do this on the day Shifty Shell Shock died, because it was like the Crazy Town singer died that day.
Again, this is just proving comedians some of the most stable-minded.
Well, I think
sound
about
of-
this open micer, and I think, I don't know, maybe we send to the guy with the broomstick. We were like, that's who actually posted it.
That's crazy, man.
But yeah, and then he had to like warn people. He was like, so if you're on a show with me this week, like, just know, like, there's a guy, so I obviously DM'd him. I love gossip. So I DM'd
doesn't?
him immediately. I
Yeah.
find people are weird about it. They're like, no, like,
You
they're
should
above
gossip.
it. And I'm like, no, gossip's dope. Like,
that was like
that's-
the original checks and balances, is gossiping on your people.
and it's fun. It's just a fun thing. We live in
Yeah.
a world where
Humans
there's-
are insane.
Yeah,
You need to
it's
talk about it.
crazy. So I sent him a message right away, and I said, "Who name names?" And he told me the name of the person. So then I go and I search the guy. Is this crazy old guy? Like, you look at
Nice.
his profile picture, and you're like, "Oh yeah, you'd show up at a place with a shovel handle."
He can't even afford the full shovel.
Well, I don't know. Maybe.
He's just that trashy.
Um,
His shovel broke and he just kept the handle.
But yeah, so it's been a hot topic, and there has been an
That's
update
interesting.
since. I mean, I hope for it, and I will dig for it.
I don't mind when people make those posts of being like, hey, we're all comedians, like don't fuck each other over in these ways, specific ways, just etiquette, certain things.
Well, there's like harmless gossip and good gossip. There's stuff that you're just like, well, we should probably just like respectfully not spread that around, let people figure out their shit. But then there's other stuff like, oh, did you hear?
Yeah, there's
This
different.
this happened on stage, and
Yeah.
There's different. There's layers to it.
I like to gossip also just to gather information on everybody in my circle as leverage.
Well,
like in
of
future
course.
situations, if I
blackmail.
like the massage,
or just power plays.
right?
What's that book? 100
I
Laws
like
of Power.
so I have a trick where I fly them out to this island and I have these sort of these.
That's getting real Epstein-y. Go on.
Well, so yeah,
sponsor the show.
I fly them out to these islands,
From beyond the grave.
and so I don't like the sex work aspect of it. So I get them to do open mics with cues, and all the cues are extremely, they're like just horrible topics, horrible things, and then I use those and I record it. They don't know it's being recorded,
Nice.
and then whenever I need a spot on a room, I show them it, and I go, I'd hate for this to get out there. Yeah,
That's what I'm talking about. That's leverage
yeah.
to further your career.
It's getting easier and easier the more desperate the comics get.
Oh yeah.
That's why that guy stopped calling, because
Well, he switched it up. The last call went to anonymous. I'm pretty sure that was just
Oh, he's doing the star 6-7 or whatever.
yeah. But I gotta say that's we're in
6,
double
7
digits
calls?
now of just hangups. It's impressive the dedication.
I say next one, let him go through. Let's see what happens.
I mean, I the first time there just wasn't much to it. It's not. I hate to say it, but it just it
fell
kind of
flat,
sucked. Yeah, it did. And like, look, I get it. You don't have a lot of friends, and you don't have a lot going on, and maybe you do have friends, and maybe you're watching, and you're like, oh, you see, they kind of get interrupted or whatever, and that's something. It's late.
And listen, don't get us wrong. You're the only person to call in so far. Appreciate it, but also be better at it.
Yeah.
Have more bits ready.
Yeah.
Have a bit, or even a question,
Or just be able to
you
riff.
know?
Yeah.
Call in and
It is
riff.
kind of funny to just ramble on. So this singer, whatever, I don't want to give him too much credit, but look,
Yeah.
Well, that's like there's like I mean, it started off strong, but it just kept going nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's the bit though. It's that it's never gonna go anywhere.
But Will Ferrell can start strong and stay strong, and he can just get riff and go random places with it the whole time.
Right.
Not saying that. I'm hoping that Will Ferrell calls in every time. That's a high expectation.
That'd be amazing. Just a Will Ferrell.
Had a
call.
Will Hannigan once. That was pretty good.
I
Will
like
Hannigan called?
He's great.
Yeah, we had
Yeah,
a call
he's
in
one of
from
the
London.
best.
That was pretty great. He was like waking up.
Oh, that's sick.
I like Will Hannigan.
Yeah, he's fantastic.
He was just in town for a minute,
Yeah, like 3 or 4 days.
but he just left.
Did you go back to London or back to Edmonton?
Bloody old England.
Back to London. I went to London
Yeah.
and did a bunch of walking tours.
You did.
Yeah, and if you don't know what a walking tour is, when a group of tourists go to the busiest place in the city and stand on the sidewalk and block people who are trying to get to work,
That's very accurate. Yeah.
and they just kind of walk around you all mad, and I could not focus on what the person was saying. Also, when you do walking tours in Ireland, so I went to Ireland and then to London, and in Ireland all they talk about is how much they hate London and how much they hate like Britain and in England, and like they go on, and I went on multiple walking tours where they're just like, oh, England, like we hate them, they're so bad and awful.
Yeah.
And then you go to London, and London is just literally like, we're so dope. Like, we are actually so sick. And here's our buildings. And you're like, at any point are you going to mention Ireland? And they're like, no, we're sick. And it was pretty dope. I don't know if you guys have been to London, but it's pretty.
I've been to
No,
London. I
never
liked
been to
it.
Europe.
Yeah.
There were certain things. It was like raining though, and then I only had like a day there, and I was in a store, and I asked the girl like, "You live in London?" She was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "What are fun things to do when it's raining?" And she was like, "Ah," and she had nothing to give to me. And I
She
like,
was just on fun.
yeah. I don't know. I was just like, "Oh, you suck."
Anonymous. You guys want to give her a shot?
Let him throw one out there.
Sure.
And then we'll go back to
Alright.
London talk.
Hello.
Hey, caller. This sounds like Randy J.
Does sound like Randy J.
Oh, I think he's playing.
Oh, is he playing Randy J's bit?
Yeah. That's what that was.
Is anyone in there? Hello?
Hello?
I got really
it's
excited when
different.
I heard Randy J's sultry voice.
For the next 3 days.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's playing.
he's just playing Randy's bit. That's interesting.
Yeah.
It's better than what he offered the first time.
Oh, we have a real guest calling.
We have a
in.
real guest.
We have a real guest.
This is exciting. Hello.
Hey, what's up? Is this, am I
Hey.
through to the Midnight Hotline?
How's it going?
Hey.
What's your name?
Hey, caller.
My name is Rodrigo Del Fuente, and I am from Michigan, Minnesota.
Nice, Rodrigo. And why are you calling today? What's your problem?
How can we help?
I got a problem, man. I pissed myself on the bus today.
Oh, on
And-
purpose or accidental?
I'm going to be honest. Normally, when people urinate on themselves, it's by accident. I was feeling lonely, and I thought if I did this in a public setting, maybe someone will reach out to me and
Right.
give me some kind of attention.
Hey-
Sorry, I didn't even ask your names. What are your names, and who am I speaking to right now?
Just quick, could you tell us whether or not you use condoms and why you use them, and then anything that's ever happened?
I'm going to be honest. I don't use. That's a good question. Mystery voice in the dark. I don't use condoms. I'm actually a big proponent of raw dogging, but
Oh. What's his
I
name?
have used condoms in my life before.
Tell us about it.
So the first time I lost my virginity was to a prostitute,
Oh.
and
Again,
I don't know. His name was Derek. It's not important, but I don't know if
Did you
you've
use
ever
a
had
condom?
sex with a prostitute. Condoms are mandatory.
Oh,
and-
right. That's a rule.
That's a rule.
I wouldn't
And
have sex with a
unfor-
prostitute, but sorry, go on.
that's all right.
So
But anyway, yeah, I would have sex with prostitutes, and then I would get, like, my dick would get a rash on it, like it would look infected, and then I'd go and get tested,
Mm-hmm.
and they'd be like, "No, you're all clear." But anyway, I'm allergic to latex. Long story short, so
Allergic
it
to
was
latex.
just an
that's what's going on with me.
How did you discover that in the end?
Well,
I was having casual sex with a woman, and I'll be honest, we were using condoms, and every time after we had sex, there'd be a disturbing smell, and I deciphered that the smell was coming from her, and as a good sexual partner, I brought it up after sex, and I said, "Hey, in the nicest way possible, you should probably go see a doctor, because something is wrong down there. It smells rancid right now." And then she insisted it was the smell of the condom. And then once I smelled the condom, it was. And it turns out she was right. But
You know, I mean,
at the
people,
same time, something didn't seem right down there. So,
when people say
you know,
when people say "I'll be honest," it's usually at a time when they're sort of admitting to something that maybe they're not necessarily as proud of as other things.
Mhm.
And you press through. I had lost my virginity to a prostitute, and I hate to use condoms. And then the only time that you said "I'll be honest" was when you were like, "I was having sex with a woman who wasn't a prostitute, and I'll be honest, I was using condoms."
all right. Well, to be honest, I was kind of ashamed of the fact I was using condoms.
I don't like to admit to this, but I have had protected sex in my life.
I know.
I don't feel good saying it, but I'll say it first.
I'll be the first.
Oh, is that a call waiting?
Here, okay. Go to the call waiting. I have a feeling it's going to be a hot guest.
Hey,
I'll let you go.
Thanks.
Have a great night.
Thanks,
Stay
dude.
off the latex.
Take it easy.
We appreciate it. Oh,
Is that
nice.
just a spit?
Hello?
Hello?
Hello.
Hello.
Hey, welcome
Hey.
to Midnight Hotline.
Hey. Hey, it's Eddie.
Oh, hi, Eddie. And what do you do?
For work?
Yeah.
For fun and work.
Well, it's funny. It's funny you asked that. Me and Will work together, and I just wanted to ask if Will, could you cover my shift tomorrow?
I
That is their code word for cock.
I am already working tomorrow, Edward. But
Oh, okay.
but
Could you think you could just like do my amount of the work also?
yeah, we could do that.
Okay. Okay. What's going on? How you guys doing? You all right?
It's good. We were just talking to Rodrigo about his latex allergy.
Seems like a convenient lie by Rodrigo.
Oh yeah, he's allergic to condoms.
Yeah. Do you know Rodrigo personally?
Yeah, we spent the night.
Guys, I don't think that his name is Rodrigo.
The guy that just called?
Yeah, I know he said that, but I have a feeling that he was just...
He seems so sincere about everything else he said.
I actually
so.
think I know who it was.
To be honest, middle name.
Middle name.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what
yeah.
I was feeling too.
Yeah. Edward, what's your
Is
middle
anything
name?
else? Is there anything else made of latex other than condoms?
Fuck dolls, maybe?
Gloves, right?
Gloves.
Gloves.
Yeah.
Get
Yeah,
my
gloves.
Pinatas, but only when you use a
Um,
condom to make the pinata.
what else is latex? Beds?
Hats, but again, that's just when you use a condom as a hat.
Water balloons?
That's
don't
awesome.
think so.
Hey, who's with you, Will? That guy's funny.
I got Alex Carr on the mic with me, man.
Oh yeah, Alex, he's funny. He's awesome.
Thanks, dude.
Thanks,
For
man.
calling.
Yeah, he's
We've had a
here.
prank caller all night, and it was really nice to have somebody who's actually kind.
Thanks, Eddie.
Oh yeah, anytime. What? How did you get on the show, Will?
That's a good question, Eddie. I got asked.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's usually how it goes.
Can I get on the? Can I get on the show?
You're on the show, Eddie.
Yeah, you're on the show.
Oh yeah, that's. Oh yeah, cool. Look at that.
Hey, yeah.
All right. Well, what do you guys want to talk about?
What did you think of the presidential debate?
Ooh, good question. Eddie's American, so that's
Who do you think won
that's a
that
very
debate?
good question. Eddie,
Who do I think won? Probably
Eddie-
I think the guy on the left side of the stage was pretty good. I forget what his name was.
Stage left or audience left
Or politically
Audience
viewed left.
or politically left?
No, audience left.
Audience left. Okay, there was no
The
audience, but
tan guy.
it's dead giveaway. You didn't watch the debate.
How do you know?
Okay,
'Cause
well-
he did win.
Yeah.
When you guys said that golf thing about the debate came up, I swear I saw that. I'm like, oh, that's got to be AI. That can't be the really like that.
No,
I
golf,
didn't actually golf about that. They're just making fun of it.
That was-
No, that was real. That's crazy.
I was a 6 handicap. I've seen you swing. You're not that good.
What do you think Trump's handicap is? We got a call waiting.
Oh, this is the prank caller. I think.
Oh, Eddie, stay on the line because this
Can you
other guy
phone him in?
sucks.
We kept Eddie.
Hey, yeah, you take a call. Take the call.
No, it's this guy. He just keeps calling in. He's no fun.
I didn't watch the presidential debate. I'll be honest with you.
Who are you gonna vote for, Eddie?
But,
you're American. You have
Was it fun?
a horse in this race.
I can vote. I usually I don't know, probably like eeny, meeny, miny, Mo. Probably Mo.
RFK guy. I get
catch
it.
a catch a
Oh,
vaccine
yeah.
by the
Jill,
toe.
Yeah.
Jill Stein, man. I'm with you.
Good enough for
Yeah.
Cheryl. Good enough for America.
Where are you from in America, Eddie?
The states
Oh yeah.
north, Portland, Oregon.
Oh, cool.
The old port.
I like Portland.
Yeah.
Oh, Portland, Oregon.
I liked it.
It's cool, you
until I
been?
found out Eddie was
I've been
from
a couple times. I like the Trailblazers, so I go down there for games sometimes.
Oh, Damian Lillard.
Yeah, he's gone now, but yeah,
Yeah, he's a buck now, but
still.
He looks like $1 million. What's a good looking guy.
yeah, he sure does.
He plays like him too. Yeah, he's a good. You know, he raps. He's a rapper.
Yeah.
Where?
You know that?
Dame time.
Remember-
I've heard all his songs.
Dame Dalla. That's
Yeah.
what they called him.
Dame Dalla?
Yeah, yeah.
That's
he's,
dope.
He's
Dame
surprisingly
Dalla, that
good.
was his name.
Nice. Eddie, you rap,
Yeah,
don't you?
I like rapping.
Dude,
I'm no Damian Lillard though.
Spit us some lines, dude.
Can you
What's-
freestyle?
I got a
Can you
beat.
freestyle
I'll give you a
something?
beat if you want freestyle.
Okay.
to it.
Jordan's got
Yeah,
a
you
beat.
can lay down a beat. I'll freestyle if you lay down a beat. What do you want me to rap about?
Rap as
Now
if
you know what?
Rap as if you're
Yeah,
an
yeah.
alt-right comedian.
Rap about Roe v. Wade or something.
Okay. All right, comedy rap. All right, let's try it. Throw the beat.
3, 2.
I'm rapping and I'm really rapping. Alt right, not left. I only turn right, not left. Gonna vote for the guy on the right side of the stage.
Oh, that's the intro.
What the fuck? This beat's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Who made that?
Ty Bossmont.
Oh yeah.
Plus
Ty Bossano make
that.
beats?
No, yeah. Fuck.
That's
I'm
cool. Eddie made me a beat recently. He's been making theme songs for all the shows in the city.
Oh, yeah, I made
And
the sidebar.
I told him to make me a sidebar theme song, and I said jazz it up, make it jazzy, and then he just sent me a recording of him just being like, sidebar, yeah. It was just like sounds of him ejaculating, I think, and I was like, we can't use this more than once.
I don't know why you can't use it.
I was actually the battle.
It sounds.
You were the background.
I was the battle rap champion of my high school.
Were you really?
Yeah, and I beat this guy.
Wow.
This guy named Dirty B, and he's still a rapper to this day. And he still he'll send me voice notes because he gets hammered and all lit on coke, and he'll just send me these voice notes. And we go, "You gotta battle me again, man." He's like, still, I swear to God,
Can't
he's
let
still,
it go. That's hilarious.
He's like,
Living
gotta
in the
come-
past.
Wow.
When you come to town, do a show, and then we'll battle afterwards.
Nice.
And when I say he still talks to me, I mean I got one this week. I got a message from him this week, and I actually want to go and just throw the battle,
Yeah.
so that I can give him some closure in life, and he can just move on. And
I would go see that.
He'll quote the lines I said to him in the battle in high school, and that was just 20 years ago. Like,
This is just
swear to God.
further proving my point that you are Eminem.
well,
And you did grow up in 8
Yeah.
Mile.
Yeah.
No, that's
No, I didn't. I
grew
didn't
up on the
use what
rough
he was
side of the
going to say
tracks.
against me. I actually
You
made fun
rapped.
of. I made fun of him. See, he had actually had a rough life and stuff, so I feel bad about it. But
do you want
yeah.
another go? Do you want to? I can
Damn.
put the beat back up.
no, I don't. I
He's
don't
retired.
care to rap too much.
Unless it's
I
against
would
Dirty
do it
B.
if we weren't recording. I
If
would show
Dirty-
you guys how good I am
If
at
Dirty
rapping.
B
but
calls in, he'll rap.
I could try to get him to
I
call in.
choose not to
I'll
rap.
That'd be
send a
so
message.
Dude, that would be that would be good.
He might be
Dirty
up 'cause
Dan.
He's always up. He sells blow, so he's like
Nice.
up all night. Just selling blow. So I'm like, hey, the worst coke. It's only coke in name. It's not.
Yeah, it's not medical coke.
It's whatever.
Yeah.
I should almost play a,
Nothing
a
good.
voice
So
note for
fentanyl,
you
the good stuff.
if I have one.
Eddie, you do cocaine a lot. What is that like?
What's cocaine? Which one's that?
It's usually the white one.
Oh yeah, that stuff. I have not done it ever. I've looked at it. It doesn't look great.
Yeah.
It's not a good look.
You should try it next time you
No.
call in. It'll jazz up the conversation a little bit.
It's like a fun.
I
time of
don't.
the day.
Yeah, I don't like the white stuff. I like when it's like a little bit brown.
little brown.
That's like a
What
little
are
bit
we talking?
brown.
Like black tar heroin.
Yeah, I think that's heroin.
Oh
Or
yeah.
speedball. A little bit of heroin and coke mixed together.
Eddie was working at the call center with Alex back in the day.
Yeah, I was there. I wasn't really. I don't know if I was working. I just did it for the love of the game.
Yeah.
So he's part of a group called Blue Flames, and he's always like telling me how great they are.
Nice.
Of course, bro. As long as you bring the fire, because it's Blue Flames bringing it. So the flame's gonna be.
That's awesome.
And you're in like Slim. 100%, man.
100%. Dirty B. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Do you listen to his music? Like, are you in? Does he still talk about you in the features?
So no, I made a diss song against him in 2020 when I was just trapped in my studio. Like, 'cause I have like a home studio, and I had way too much time on my hands, and
Sure,
I was kind of microdosing, and a lot was going on.
Mm-hmm.
So I made this diss song against him, and it was about how he still wears baggy jeans, and it was all like just rapping about like how like he lives in the past, like stuff like that.
Nice.
And then
Hit
it
him
was
where it
about
hurts.
how one time I went to his house and I wanted to get something to eat, And so he took me to the corner store and just to buy like pop and chips, but I was like but I wanted like real food. And so that's basically the gist of the song.
Nice.
And so then he was going to make a song retaliating, because I was thought that he would like really bring some heat and give him some closure on the whole rapping thing. But it didn't work out that way. He didn't end up making a song dissing me back. And so it was almost like I almost like kicked him again. I hit him again. And I play the song sometimes for people just for fun, because it's like sometimes it's fun to embarrass yourself and like take yourself down a peg.
Yeah.
And so I'll play the song, and then I played it for Ty Boissonneau, the guy that made that beat, and I could just see, we were just driving to my car, and he was like, "God, I had no idea that you make rap songs." And I was like, "Well, keep in mind it was 2020, and some people were making sourdough, and I was making sour rhymes about Dirty B and Blue Flames."
Yeah.
Well, no, I wasn't dissing Blue Flames. There's people in the group that I'm legit scared of that I would never say anything about.
Of course,
They literally would punch
Don't
me
want to
in the
mess
face.
with the streets.
They're like not to be messed with. They're in all jokes aside. These
Oh,
guys
yeah.
grew up. He
Blue
grew up with like
Flame.
5 brothers and sisters, and he had to like sell drugs to pay his rent, his mom's rent and stuff. You know, like real stuff where you're like, ooh, that's
Blue Flame.
rough.
Blue Flame makes me think of like I went camping recently with a bunch of dudes, and we were all trying to light our farts on fire at the campfire. And when you actually catch one,
Yeah, like
it
a
comes
blue
out kinda,
angel.
it comes out kind of blue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Blue Angel.
If I
That's-
make another diss
Yeah.
song, I'm gonna use that audio as the intro.
Yeah.
And then the beat's just gonna drop.
Yeah. It'll just be lighting farts at the.
I won't be making another song though. I'm retired until I feel like it. I like to think
That's
it's
what they
when
all
because
say.
he kept sending me these notes. He kind of backed me into a corner, and I was like, "Look, if you keep doing this, I'm gonna make a track here. I got nothing but time." It was based off of a King Von song. Do you guys know who King
I
Von
like Ken
is?
Bon, yeah.
No.
So it was based off his song "Took Her
Isn't
to
he
the
dead?
O." Yes, he's dead.
R.I.P. Yeah.
Took Her to the O, and it was called "Took Me to the Stowe." Is what it was called, because it was about going to the store.
Nice. Stowe. Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was fire. I could have sent you the audio, but I'd be too embarrassed. I would leave in the middle of it.
We should play it live on air right now.
Yeah. Oh, we'll play it afterwards. We'll put it at the end
I'll
of the
play
show.
it for you guys after.
Yeah.
Please.
I'll play it for you guys, and then you guys can all, and then I'll never
Put
get
that on the
invited back.
Patreon.
Yeah, that's on the
We'll put-
Patreon.
on the clips. Yeah.
It's on the Clips channel.
Is that our stalker calling again?
Yeah. He really wants to get it.
He's resilient. It's past his bedtime.
Am I still on?
You're still on, Eddie. Yeah, you're the third member of the show tonight.
Yeah, Eddie, you're here.
Eddie,
Oh,
who's your
cool,
favorite
man.
comedian? If you could,
Oh, nice.
If you had to pick,
I don't tell Will Corry,
I won't.
but it probably Randy J.
No. Like
He's pretty good.
Other than like, who's your favorite famous comedian? Who did you listen to when you were growing up? Even though you're still growing up, we all are.
Probably who's probably like
Just be true to your
who's
heart.
the-
You don't have to
who's,
come up with something clever.
probably like I don't know. I don't really watch any comedy. I like I like
Boo.
well, hey man, hey, whoa, hey.
It's been a
What? Hey, whoa, hey. Who is your favorite comedian?
Cat Williams, easy.
Cat Williams. Is a great
Cat
choice.
Williams? Is that the guy from Atlanta?
I'm a Cedric
He's
the
actually
Entertainer
from
camp.
Ohio. But
Cedric's good.
Oh, he's from Ohio, but he
Bernie
does all the. I like Cat Williams because he does a lot of act outs with the stool.
Mm.
Like he's always like he'll like beat up the stool or he'll like trip on it or something.
his last special was horrible. But I used to
Was
sit.
it?
we
Not,
used-
not enough stool stuff.
No, he literally. Did you guys watch it?
No,
Was it-
I
was
don't
it
think so.
called
crazy
Woke Folk or
bad.
something?
It was crazy.
What was it? What was it called?
Nowadays, you can have sex with anyone. You can have sex with pots and pans if you want. That's called a pansexual. And then he puts.
No,
up a
he
picture-
didn't.
I swear to God.
Oh,
And then he
no.
puts up a picture of pots and pans behind him. And you just go,
Oh, good
what
Lord.
happened?
The visual tag is that's rough.
Like, it's insane. Well, when I was young, we used to do a lot of just sitting in an apartment waiting for people to stop by. And we only had so many, there was no streaming. And so we only had like a couple DVDs. And so like the only comedy that we ever watched were just the 2 Cat Williams DVDs.
Yeah.
And we would just watch them over and over again. And like, if you go back, it's like not something that like I would say is critically acclaimed or you'd watch and you'd think is amazing. But when we were just sitting there, you know, blazing, doing nothing, we thought it was so funny to hear
What
him.
hours were they? Like what names?
It's Pimpin', and the other one that has like something to do with Pimpin'.
The Pimp Chronicles.
Pimp Chronicles. Yeah.
There you go.
Oh,
Pimp,
yeah,
Pimp
yeah.
Chronicles.
This shit here, you smoke this, you go deaf. And you go, I don't want that. Like, I don't know. I just know that that's what I watched the most. And I also like comedians where I don't like when I watch a comedian and I think like maybe I could have thought of that or maybe that is something that it was in my realm of my world. So Cat Williams, there's nothing that he says or does that I'm like I could not do that. If I were to talk and act like Cat Williams, you guys would all hate me, rightfully so.
Yeah.
Rightfully so.
He's
Well-
a unicorn.
So
He's a one of one.
so that's my favorite, and then maybe Norm Macdonald probably is
Sure.
up there.
Yeah, I'd put Norman. Like,
Oh yeah, he's
especially,
the
like, growing up,
greatest of
Norman
all
Carlin.
time.
Yeah. That's what I thought, Eddie. I thought you were gonna say Norm Macdonald. That's what I thought you would have said.
I love Norm Macdonald. He's the greatest comedian of all time.
Nice.
Yeah, Norm.
After Randy J. but
Randy. I think
still
we all
him.
go without saying we were all thinking Randy J. But I just meant after
Yeah.
that.
You don't know what you've got till it's gone.
It goes Randy.
You know what?
No
You know
one.
what Cat Williams should have done with that joke is he should have been like, "Man, you can fuck anything these days. You could even fuck the stool," and then start fucking. That would have been. That would
Still
have been good.
sexual.
Yeah, because I mean it's right there. You don't have to. Then you don't have to have a whole PowerPoint. Did he have other pictures, or was it just like
He had a bunch
right
of
at the
pictures.
end?
He had a bunch of pictures, and he had one funny joke in the whole thing. But everyone that had a picture was not funny. I kind of
That's
nitpicked
depressing.
what I thought was the worst joke of the whole thing.
As you should.
But
Dude.
yeah,
Have you noticed that with comedians, there's like almost a bell curve of quality in their career where they start out and they have promise and potential or whatever, and they start out really good, and then it just increases, and then the pinnacle is kind of like right before they hit like mega fame, where they have a special that kind of puts them
yeah.
on the upper echelon, and then the fame and the money and everything, the arenas, and then they just kind of go down, and like name a comedian who's had world tours who released a special beyond that was like, holy shit. Like there's very few.
Yeah.
It
Oh,
always,
Carrot Top.
His
fuck, I forgot about him.
and then Randy.
That's
J.
my favorite.
His early
Yeah.
stuff. Another thing too, I'm a sucker for a black comedian doing a white guy's voice, and he can nail. You ever hear his wrong number bit about
Williams?
about how nice white people are, and he's like, you call a white person and it's the wrong number, and they'll go, and he does this voice, and he's just like, well, no, that's not the number. No, that it ends with a 9. Well, why don't you give it a try and call me back and we'll get this figured out.
Yeah. White people sound crazy.
Yeah, so that's fun because I don't think that it would work if I were to do a white voice because it would just be the same voice,
Pretty much.
so it wouldn't hit.
Try another voice.
I could
We
do the
doing-
Spryfield voice.
Are we doing impressions
Fuck,
now?
are you looking at, bud? Juanita's voice. You want to
Juanita.
get tased?
Cool.
So
Eddie-
it's something from earlier.
Eddie, were you listening when Juanito got brought up?
Who's Juanito?
Yeah,
Oh,
he wasn't
that's it.
around.
You're not.
That's okay.
I think
alright.
I just got here.
That's all right, dude. That's all right. You're busy.
It was you guys did a callback.
Yeah, it's not even a really good one. It was just I was trying to fill time at the time.
I've been
totally
I've been
honest.
watching.
That's what Eddie does every time.
Well, I've
he
been
gets on
watching
stage.
the live stream, but I've been watching. Yeah, no, I'm all about killing time. That's why I'm calling it. I'm actually on stage right now,
That's a good name for an album. Killing Time.
killing time.
I could see it being an album already.
Probably.
Yeah,
is.
probably. You know what I looked up recently is I was thinking about like a good like music album names,
Oh yeah.
right? And I was thinking like parody album names, and I was like, Get Rich or Die Trying.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking about like a parody album called Get Rich or Diabetes. So I looked it up to see, and some guy already has it out, and it's like a serious rap album,
Shit.
The whole album?
and it's really good. Yeah, it's called Get Rich or Diabetes.
There's
Damn.
nothing that the internet already hasn't done. So like one time I was joking with a buddy about how, You know how some girls will hold in pictures, they'll like hold an item between their breasts and then take the photo, and
Sure.
you're kind
No,
of
you should send me some of those.
it's framed by boobs. And
Yeah.
I was joking with them, and I was like, imagine I was like taking a picture of some Fudgios, and I was like, took it like beneath my balls.
Just right at your taint.
And I was like, it would be framed by balls. And then
Yeah.
we Googled it, and not only was framed by balls a full trend, but it was a trend 2 years before, and it was called nutscaping, and it was done by
You're
thousands
so-
and thousands of people.
You're so late.
And,
so
I,
late to
and
the
all
party.
I thought was like, it was when it dawned on me, I was like, there is literally no idea that you can come up with that somebody
Yeah.
in the world hasn't
Dude,
done.
You know what I was thinking the other day was if I ever get some sort of horrible, life-changing injury or disease, that will be bad, but at least I'll immediately start a really successful TikTok career. You know what I mean? Have you seen those TikToks where it's like
I'm not really.
follow my
I'm not on
journey,
TikTok.
follow my journey from like my boat accident where I lost my leg or something, and then like it's like day 1, and then it goes to day like a year later, and it's always very inspiring. But I'm like, it could be literally anything. It could be like, oh, I had flesh-eating fungus or something. It like I'm stoked. I'm almost like looking forward to like some, knock on wood, like some life-changing. Am I the only one? Sorry. I thought that
No,
was-
my algorithm's not like that.
Oh, what's your algorithm, man?
You ever talk to a guy who doesn't understand that like his algorithm's different from other people's algorithms?
Yeah.
And then he's like, you guys have seen these videos, right? Where like there's a guy and he's got like a pair of pliers on his nuts. You know what I mean? And you're like, no, I don't.
Hang up on him.
Oh,
Or hold on him. All right, it's Eddie, we're going to put you on hold 1 sec. Oh, the other guy hung up. Shit.
Was it a new guy? Hello.
Hey, what's that? He's back. I think I just missed him.
Oh, was it a new person?
No, it was the old guy.
Old guy. Oh, damn.
I just thought we'd throw him a bone.
Oh, we lost Eddie too.
Oh, we lost Eddie.
You know, I actually had the
That's all right.
flesh-eating disease when I was in grade 3.
You did?
Yeah,
Crazy.
No way.
Legit. So it was on my leg, and I was hiding it from my parents because I had a hockey tournament coming up, even though it was like really painful. And it was this like red bump right there, and I still have a scar if you can see it there.
Sure.
And I didn't know because I was in grade 3. Look, I had no idea that it was so serious because they don't like tell kids.
Well, that's such a random, crazy.
Yeah, so they also didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
So I went to the hospital and they put like little red like marker around it, and then you're just in the emergency room and it's obviously very busy, whatever. And then when the doctor came back, it had already like passed the red mark. And I remember just being a kid and looking at how everybody's demeanor changed, and they were like, I went from having to wait in the room to going right upstairs to get my own room, which I thought was dope at the time.
Yeah.
I also was pumped that I didn't have to go to school. Yeah, take it. I'll take it.
Hello.
Hey.
What do I have to do to earn back your guys' trust?
Oh, this is the guy.
yeah.
Nice.
I am
don't know,
so.
what's your
I'm
name,
so.
guy?
I've called 34 times
We appreciate
after
it.
I was blacklisted. I am a diehard fan, and this has crushed me.
What's your name,
being
guy?
blacklisted?
Tell us your name and we'll
Huh?
consider.
What's your real name? And I'll look you on Instagram, and then you can be a real person and not just a caller that tries to like be a troll. Like, what's your real name? What's your Instagram?
It's, like, would you follow?
I'll follow. Yeah.
Sure.
What's the name?
You'd sauce me on there?
Yeah. Go.
Eddie Spencer.
Oh, man.
No. Okay.
Oh,
well,
look,
Eddie,
guys,
we're gonna be
please
sure to
put the-
follow you.
No.
Pure disappointment.
So anyway, speaking of people who should get flesh-eating disease,
Dude, I wish he got it on his fucking voice box.
so then they brought me upstairs, and I had no idea like what was going on. But I had asked for a Game Gear for Christmas that year.
Oh, what?
And a Game Gear. I'm older than you guys. It's like a handheld game thing, like a Game Boy.
Like
but
I know what a Game Gear
pre-Game
is.
Boy?
Yeah. Right around the same time, but it had color, and it was, if you had that, you had more attitude. Nintendo was for nerds, but Game Gear was for the cool kids.
Nice.
So I didn't really know how serious it was. If you remember the marketing for it, it was like, Sega has attitude. We're not this losers from Nintendo.
Yeah, things were
Sega?
exploding out of the fucking hands. It was crazy. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
So I didn't know what was up, and they're like, "You got this surgery coming up." Because my parents, they told me that I might die. The only other kid that had it died.
Your parents said that to you?
Well, no, they didn't. I know this now because 10 years later they told me the truth, and So, but I knew because they bought me the Game Gear. They bought me the Game Gear, and I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna die. I'm
that's
100%."
crazy.
Santa couldn't bring it.
Your parents were like,
Santa couldn't bring it that year. I asked him for my birthday and for Christmas. It was too expensive.
your parents were like, we
But-
can't
but
let him
wait,
die without a
well,
game.
now he's gonna die. So now we're gonna get him the thing before he's dead. I got 8 days left to play to try and beat X-Men, which is actually a notoriously impossible game. I couldn't get past the second stage.
Well, of course you were suffering from
Which was
flesh-eating disease.
even worse. No,
He
having
gave you something to
flesh-eating-
live for. You had to like beat the game.
So having flesh-eating disease was dope. It like no, it was sick.
Highly recommend.
So I was in so because they didn't know what it was, they put me on the bone wing, and the kid that was in the room with me had broken his foot, and he had a cast on, and his foot was casted backwards because it was so fucked. They had to like slowly crack it back around or whatever.
Jesus.
And I was there with this like rare disease that might kill me, and I remember thinking like, "Whoa, sucks to be this guy, sucks to be you." His parents aren't buying him a Game Gear. I'm in the bone unit playing ball on one of those little tyke nets, just like rolling him in front of me and shooting jumpers on him because I could move. All I had was this red bump. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Did it hurt when you had it? Like was
It hurt like crazy, but
Okay.
only if you touched it. If my pants rubbed against it, my eyes would fill with tears. Like
Yeah.
it was so painful. But at the same time, if you didn't touch it,
Shorts and you're fine.
Yeah, and looking at a kid with a backwards foot is like seems way worse. His parents know that he's going to be fine. My parents, you wouldn't want to be that kid's parents, but if I have to choose, I'm taking flesh-eating disease every time.
Yeah.
And I also didn't know the stats. They had told my parents there was a pregnant woman who died and lost her baby, and there was another kid that had it because it was so rare.
Yeah.
And that other kid died. And but I didn't know. They didn't know. All I knew is I had a Game Gear. I'm shooting jumpers on this loser with his broken
Nice.
foot. And they had to fly a doctor in from Toronto to do the surgery. And they did the surgery, and it was crazy. I also had to get the gauze that they put in this like fake flesh to like replace it or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to be awake for it, and they had to change it before I left the hospital. And I remember they were like, it was scheduled to be done. It was awful because I had to get all these needles. I still have issues with needles because of this whole thing.
Of course.
And they were like, the doctors were like, we got to change it one more time, and then you can go home. And then the doctor comes in and they're like, did they change it? And I'm just a kid, right? I'm just a liar. And I just go, yeah, they already did it. And so they like put all the clothes on me and stuff. And then they're like, that right before we left, the doctor looked at the chart. He was like, did you lie? And I like instantly played like Get a Wish Kid, like would Make a Wish Kid. Like, I don't know. I'm just a child. And
I'm just on death's door.
they were like, did they change it or not? And I was like, I don't even I don't remember whether or not I had to have flesh pulled out of my leg today or not. Who's to say? I was playing X-Men on a
Lord.
Game Gear. You don't know how hard level 2 is.
What day is today?
So then they had to do that before I left, and that part of it was awful. Just watching them pull the stuff out and then stuff new stuff in.
So
Brutal.
they had to continuously replace the flesh, like the new flesh of fake flesh.
It's not flesh. I think it's just gauze that hold it, and they have to replace them so they don't get infected. I was fully ready to go home and like get flesh-eating disease again because I was a kid. I was in grade 3. I didn't know what was up.
Yeah.
Also, another thing, they got every kid in my class to write me cards and stuff. And like my teachers like didn't like me and everything, and like the cards were all so loving, and the teachers wrote these loving cards, and that's how I knew it was serious.
What did the kids say? Like, hope your flesh gets better or something?
I don't remember like too much. I probably only read the cards of my buddies, and then like you're a kid. I was just like, Samantha, I'm not reading your stupid card.
Yeah.
She smells.
All I cared about was sports for most of my life. So all I cared about was whether or not I was going to get to play soccer that summer and whatever. I don't know. I was in the hospital for like a month or something. And
So with the surgery, did they just have to cut it out and like skin graft?
so great question. So they cut it out. And here's another thing. My dad, I didn't find this out until years later. When I went into that surgery, they didn't know 100% whether or not they were going to have to cut my leg off.
Jeez.
They were going to have to cut
Like
it,
going
That's
into the
cut it
terrible.
off from here down. So
into the surgery.
Yeah, like,
Jesus.
and they didn't tell me that. So I would have just came out like, how did it go? How are things? I
Wait.
think you guys forgot something in there.
Were you
Oh my
you weren't
God.
awake for this one?
I was this one you're totally out
Okay,
for.
okay.
This they only do the second thing. But then I've always had this thought, and this is going to seem crazy, but this is genuinely the way I think.
Nothing's
I've-
crazy
I-
on the midnight hotline.
I've always thought that if I had lost my leg, so I was a good athlete, but I would have never went pro in anything.
Mm-hmm.
But and I would have never went to the Olympics. But I could have went to the Paralympics. And sometimes hear me out. Sometimes when I look back, I think, man, and then Oscar Pistorius comes out.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's some issues with his home life that we won't talk about. But for a minute there, he
Doesn't
was hot.
recycle?
He was, yeah,
Yeah.
you heard about that.
Yeah.
So I've always pictured, I'm like, man, so say I get this sick, like, you know, another Cat Williams lift, a little boing boing, doesn't matter. I get this sick
Carbon fiber.
blade, right? This sick carbon fiber blade. And then also I've always thought, I was like, oh, my teachers would forever feel bad for me. I was always in trouble in school. I spent like my whole career just out in the hallway fooling around. And I was like, they would have felt bad for me, and they would have treated me nicer. They would have felt bad, and I would have, you know, somehow got better grades, and I would have elevated, and then been an Olympic. I'd be on Team Canada right now. I would be here, but you would be interviewing me because I'm a Paralympian legend.
I mean, it's crazy that your leg has been holding you back.
It's this thing
Your
that's
entire life.
ruined my life.
This fucking slab of meat.
This slab of
that
meat.
That piece of shit Toronto doctor saved.
Every night I curse it. I go, oh, damn you.
Take his license away.
Damn you. You know, it would have been a different world. I would have had a whole different
crazy.
world. But sadly, the doctors told me I have really good white blood cells. That's what they told me. They were like, that's what I swear to God. That's what they said. They're like, most people have a worse outcome.
Wow.
And I've always been like sick. I never got COVID too. And I was just reading about these things called super dodgers. And with absolutely no evidence, I said to myself, I'm a super dodger.
Nice.
But it's actually very rare to be a super dodger for
You've
real.
never gotten COVID once?
I never got it, but but then again, some people get it and they don't have symptoms. I also didn't,
like herpes.
I didn't really avoid it. Like I love saunas and steam rooms. And the moment you could go into them, I was in them with other people, just shooting pellets all over everybody.
Oh, yeah.
And blood and
You were spitting on
pellets
the
back
rocks.
in. Well, no, you don't actually do that. That's kids. You break the sauna doing that.
Oh, sorry.
I can joke around about a lot of things, but sauna etiquette is
It is where you draw the line. That's crazy.
So I'm surprised. I don't know. I didn't go. Well, I didn't notice it. I tested a few times.
I got COVID as soon as it came out.
You were a COVID hipster?
I couldn't wait. It was like the Game Gear. I was like, give me that thing.
And my parents got it for me.
Yeah, I got sick, and then my parents got me COVID.
They got it.
No, my one time when when I was growing up, my brother, he got diagnosed with diabetes, and so he was in the hospital for a minute. And my grandparents, I'm okay. My grandparents brought him a remote controlled truck for his diabetes diagnosis. And I remember, like, he was 7, I was 5, and I remember being like, wouldn't mind some type 1 diabetes for a little fucking
You get a
little
lot
RC
of love.
truck, you know what I mean?
You get a lot of love.
Yeah,
and
I was
attention.
like, do I have Munchausen or something? Like, I want a fucking
Yeah.
Nintendo.
Oh, another thing in prison in the hospital, it's all Jello. It's like you're eating Jello.
Yeah, not bad.
I'm
meal.
also there's a Tim Hortons in the one in Halifax in the IWK, and I'm getting whatever I want. I was on the IWK telethon that year. Oddly enough, so my dad would host the IWK telethon. He's like a Canadian actor,
What is
low level.
What is IWK?
The IWK is the Children's Hospital in Halifax. So my dad was on the original Red Green show. He was the chef, and
Oh, shit.
yeah,
Okay.
Can I grab another one of these?
He was in like
Yeah.
Jello
Thank you.
ads and things like that. It's not a great life. I wouldn't recommend it to anyone, but
The Red Green Show?
well, just being a Canadian actor,
Yeah,
it's just
yeah,
even if you
fair
have
enough.
a mild amount of success and you can be on a couple things, it's not lit. And people think that you have money, you don't. You have to get flesh-eating disease to get a Game Gear. It's not what you think. But so he would host the telethon. So it was this kind of cool thing where, because he would hosted it every year for like a decade, and it's a fundraiser that they do for 24 hours. But that year he had this really great story. My son is in the hospital right now, and I was on the telethon, and it was great. It was it's all been downhill since then, to be fully honest.
Nice.
I never work at that call center. I never do any
I
of that.
don't know. Getting tased sounds pretty great.
Getting tased
That's an
was dope.
experience.
Working at the call center was dope. They gave us, Sam didn't care because Sam is like he is on the Trailer Park Boys. He didn't care. Like he would encourage us to go smoke weed on our breaks.
Yeah,
good.
He'd be like, go smoke some weed, come back. I'll give you guys 15 minutes. Like it was chill.
Yeah.
I really liked working there, and you got commissions, and I was really good at it. So
Nice.
getting tased was like, it's a funny story, but it was nothing. It's like
Wasn't that bad?
Oh, it wasn't that bad at all. It wasn't like a cop taser. It was like a from the streets, like little rinky taser.
Oh, like a Timu taser.
Like a little like handheld one. You have to stick it into the person, so it's not one with the prongs.
Right. Yeah.
And the moment you stick it in and then pull it back, like it's over.
It was like half as fun as flesh eating disease when you were a kid.
If I had to
Getting tased.
choose,
How many tases is worth?
if I had to choose, I would take flesh eating disease because I got the Game Gear out of it.
Nice.
But the tasing, but it is tough to pick. I've never
Yeah.
had that put on me, and I didn't think it would happen on a live stream where I'd have to choose.
Yeah.
So I might get home tonight and call and say, hey, can you edit the episode? I've realized that I actually think the tasing is better.
Do you think?
Unfortunately, we don't do that. Sorry, your question?
Do you think? Excuse me. Do you think flesh eating diseases, like the bacteria or whatever, do you think when they hit a fat person, they're just like, fucking jackpot? There's so much flesh on this person that we get to eat.
I don't
You
know.
know what I mean? Like the surface area.
Once they become sentient, yeah.
Well, whatever their evolutionary directive is, they're just
I
like,
guess.
they're like, boys, we're not going hungry today.
Yeah, well, yeah. I
You
mean,
know
there's
what I mean?
more. I wonder if they live longer or if your body gets overwhelmed quicker.
Well, here's the question: does the flesh eating virus need to have a living host?
Yeah,
Or
do
because
they just consume
just
flesh
keep going until the
all the way
day's
till the
done?
end.
I would say it does, but I don't know. I would say it must.
I'd say they
Because
probably prefer alive, but they'll settle for dead.
Because usually
what I mean?
they do need to. You do need to be alive for it to be like the host.
But maybe that's just how it starts. And they just want to finish
It
the
starts
job.
and stays. The real question is, how did I get it? Like when they didn't know. I had stitches in the same spot a year before, and I swam in a public pool, but they said that couldn't be it because it was too long in between. At one point, they thought it was a spider bite.
Like that, they
weird.
thought what it was
They
a
didn't
spider.
know what it was
Yeah,
at first,
yeah, yeah.
right? They like literally were just coming in and scratching their head. If you've ever seen the show House, they're just like
Right.
throwing the ball around, trying to figure out.
I remember being crazy young and watching an episode of Oprah when they featured flesh-eating viruses, and they're like, we have every case that they talked about who personally on there. Like, we have no idea how they got it. We think maybe they were at an airport and they cut themselves on a zipper or something crazy like that, and that's where it came from. But there was never any kind of consistency to whatever.
Yeah, they didn't know.
Do you ever met anybody that's died in like a crazy circumstantial, once in a lifetime way? I can't think of it.
Met anyone? I mean, there's the very standard drunk driving is a Nova Scotia pastime.
Well, that's not.
But no, that's crazy standard.
It's one of the classics,
It is that is one of the classics.
That's one of the greatest hits.
I know
No-
I know they dropped the cell phone into the guardrail. I know that one.
Drop the cell phone on the guardrail.
Talking on the phone, drop the cell phone, go to grab the phone. Car goes into the median.
Oh no,
Yeah.
Oh, geez. Oh, that's brutal.
not worth it.
That's Final
No,
Destination.
he was
shit.
19, valid Victorian, and on the phone with his mom when it happened.
Damn.
The guy who calls in is such a coward. Because he had a chance to
Yeah,
say,
yeah.
you know what I mean, say who he is, and he couldn't.
We could have
say
played.
it.
We
And
could have played.
he could have been something, but he was like, I actually don't want anyone to know who I am.
Yeah.
I might want to be on a stage sometime, and someone might have to hear me.
What?
He's like, I haven't killed yet, so I can't release my full credentials. I was actually driving the other day at work with Edward, who called in, and he brought a little speaker to work, but he plugged it in to charge it, and he was resting it on the ashtray, and I was driving, and then we were pulling out of an alley downtown, and the speaker fell off the ashtray and rolled under my brake. And
No
then,
way.
and then I was like, we were going into traffic, and I was like, it's under the brake, and then he had to like grab and I slammed on the brake. So he
Good
didn't.
Lord, that's terrifying.
Yeah. So Edward's, one of our star employees at the company right now.
That is Final Destination stuff.
Oh man, I was like, it's just too perfect. I was like, man,
You can't. Anyone who's ever watched Final Destination you can't drive behind a log truck without.
oh my
thinking about
girlfriend
it.
freaks out every time.
I've worked on the 5, whichever one was the one where it was like
the bridge.
It was the one that was like it ended up being the prequel to the first one, where you find out at the end that they get on the plane of the first one at the end of that one.
Oh,
I watched
okay.
them all not that long ago. I started to run through them.
They're
all
great
filmed in
movies.
Vancouver.
Great flicks.
Yeah. So there's a lot of like, that's Vancouver.
Yeah.
You guys ever watch the show Loudermilk?
No. But I got recommended it by
Loudermilk. It's all filmed in Vancouver, and like you can see Vancouver in the background. And they do have one episode where they drive all across America to New Orleans, and it's just Vancouver in every
gas
single
now.
place. Like, everywhere in America is just, you're like, yeah, that's also Vancouver. Then they get to New Orleans and they're like, here we are, downtown Vancouver.
It is a pretty.
Did you guys ever see the show Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency?
No.
Elijah Wood, a couple other people. They filmed it in Vancouver, but I forget where it is. You know those stairwells that go to nowhere in Gastown?
Yeah. Yeah.
They film there, and they just have a chase scene where he ends up and the guy runs up the stairs like, what the fuck is the purpose of these fucking stairs? It's just the greatest satisfying scene of like for something that's been filmed in Vancouver.
It's very
awesome.
Vancouver. I do find
cool.
it to be addicting once you know something's filmed in Vancouver to go, I know where that is. I know where that is.
Yeah. It feels kind of cool.
Look at me. I'm special.
I remember the first time I saw the Smallville house. I was like, ooh, I was out in Cloverdale.
No, I haven't watched it.
You ever watch Smallville? It's a great show. Clark Kent.
Worked on a bunch of CW superhero shows, and every finale is filmed out in front of the Library Square. It's
Is it?
Every like so many final fights of every episode season, different shows.
Like the main VPL down on Georgia?
Like, yeah, right in front of Georgia where the lions are and everything, that big square. Just
Cool.
open area, you can light the shit out of it.
Yeah.
Lots
What
of
do
room
you
for people
do
to fight.
in film?
I do VFX for film.
That's
So,
cool. That's how you know all this tech
You were just
stuff.
working on Tron, right?
Sure was.
Is that? Are you still doing that, or is it?
Wrapped up?
Oh, nice. How'd it go?
It's great. Yeah. It was long, like a lot of night shoots, but it's good.
Cool.
Nice.
I'm excited to see it.
I've been an extra in a bunch of stuff. It's kind of funny. You just stand around. The extras, they put you in a room, and everybody just complains about how they're hungry. And they're like, when is the food coming? When is the food coming? And then the food comes, and then they're like, this food is really bad. This food's not very good. And then moments later, they go, when is the next food coming? And it's just people complaining about food. And then eventually standing in the background, wondering what choices they've done with their life.
What's the gig like for extras? Like, do you get paid or whatever?
Yeah, if you're union, the pay's really good. But if you're not, it's just kind of like, I don't know, $25 an hour. This was in Halifax, and I had a different scale of what you should get paid for things. So at the time, it felt like great money.
Sure.
Yeah, I haven't done it out here.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you're not doing anything, it's easy work. You're just sitting around complaining about food.
Yeah, you're just waiting.
I did extra work when I was in college. First gig that they bring out to, they were just like, oh, it's gonna be a nightclub scene. That's kind of all they tell you. It ended up being for Queer as Folk, and me and a few buddies from class were in the episode. And it's like a dance scene, and immediately right away they're just like, all right, they do their first take, and like, we're gonna redo some blocking. And they just say, like, me and my one friend, they put us in the back, and they're like, okay, we're going to go again. Just like, can't dance for shit. But by one of our friends, they kept him out in front. And by the end of it, they were just like, so do you want to be like one of Hank's Lovelies? Do you want to be in the room and make some extra money at the end of the night? And they're like,
oh, wow.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'll make some extra money at the end of the night. But then you go in and they're like, oh, no, you like gotta have sex with this guy. And like, oh, you didn't say that.
Wow, that is extra.
That's not the same.
That's where the extra comes in.
So dope. Next time you have that offer, let me know.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I'm so
You got
poor.
to make out with a guy who was in the elevator with Spider-Man and Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Hell yeah. So
I would take any amount of money to.
should we call it here?
Yeah, if you guys want to. I feel that's
yeah.
we gave it a good run.
Sure.
I thought we gave it a good run. I mean, it's too bad. It's too bad about the calls. Next time I do it, I'll try to set it. It's so late in Halifax. Otherwise, I would have
Get Dirty
some
B
drunk-
calling
I would
in,
get Dirty
or
B to call.
Dead Richard.
And you know what? We took last week off, so I was kind of expecting it to be a bit of a rocky get back into the groove of things too, as far as.
Well, what did you think about the podcast in general? If you had to rate this one out of all the podcasts,
I felt like we did a good job. I mean, the calling situation was probably the low end of it. Normally we had a lot more callers and more fun interacting with all that, but I had a good time hanging out with you guys. Appreciate you guys both coming in.
Appreciate it as well.
I learned a lot, laughed a lot, cried a little.
I wouldn't give this podcast anything less than a 9 out of 10.
right?
You want to give him one last shot?
One
before-
last
Sure,
for the
yeah.
road?
Tell him he can do the
Is this the guy?
exit. Just be like, hey, you can do.
Hey, how do we want to close this out, buddy? Give us a go.
Sorry, I did miss that. What'd you say?
How do you want to close this show out?
I don't know.
Oh.
I'm lost. Would it matter if I? Oh, sorry, getting another call.
Oh, this guy. Have you seen? I just watched Inside Out recently. Have you seen Inside Out?
I have not.
It's like this girl has like emotions in her head, and they're all like a little character in her
Yeah.
head. And
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
one for sadness, and this guy makes me feel the
Yeah,
sadness,
yeah.
the sadness one. My sadness in my head is like she's pressing all the buttons right now.
Well, let's end on a nice sad note then.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, but yeah, 9 out of 10 for this one.
Hit Ty, boss. Ty needs to get a sick
Yeah, throw the
producer
beat
name.
down. Let's outro us out.
Listen, thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate you. Thank you for everyone who tuned in tonight. Thank you for the couple people who did call in with real stuff. See you guys next week. Thank you very much.